This is the Road to a Million call. We've been doing this call. I think this is week number 103. We've done this call for 103 weeks in a row. And if you guys ever want to go back and listen to old episodes, we turn this into a podcast. So it's on Spotify, it's on Apple. James will drop the link for those two somewhere. Also, so that means you guys can just put it in your earbuds. Maybe some of you guys are still cleaning. You guys can go put the thing in while you're cleaning and listen to old podcasts. And if you listen to episode number 1, you guys will hear about how we started our second cleaning business down here in Mesa, Arizona. It will be a year, I think, in the next 1 or 2 weeks. If this is episode 103, we got to be getting close, right? It's either like 1 or 2 weeks away from 2 years in. We started that location with 0 clients. We started with 0 reputation. And now that business does over $19,000 a week, which is over $83,000 a month, which is it's $1 million business. Okay. And that's what this whole Road to a Million call started with, was get the road to $1 million. Haha, guys, there it is. Right. And so with that second location, it opened us an opportunity to then do a third location. And that's with Tyler and Kellen, who's on here right now. We actually bought Sacramento 5-star cleaning of November last year to then add to our existing location that we started 5 years ago, Bozeman, snowy, cold Bozeman, Montana. So now we have 3 locations. And last week, we did something really, really cool. Katie, what did we do last week that was super, super cool?
We got to have the whole entire team come to Mesa and work in one location.
Yes, it was so freaking fun. We had the Bozeman team come in, we had the Sacramento team come in. They stayed at our old house that we used to live in, that's now a rental. We actually kicked people out just to put them in there. We said, guys, you got to leave so then these guys can come in. Okay. And they got to drive around my truck. It was like super freaking fun, right? It was awesome. And so one of the things that I started to think about as I come into this call today was like buy-in. And one of Kitty's coaching clients asked this question. She's like, how do you get your team so bought in? And so that is going to be what the point of today's call is, guys, is how to get your team to buy in. And so, Kitty, what are a couple of ways of how to get someone's team to actually buy in, whatever that word means, whatever that term means?
The first is definitely like lead in a way that makes them want to follow. Barking orders, making them feel bad about their work, not great ways to lead and make them feel good. They want to follow a good leader. And then the second is definitely providing clarity on knowing what winning looks like for the team.
Yeah. I think that's why one of the most important things is clarity. And so how many of you guys right now feel a little fuzzy on what exactly winning looks like for you? Yeah. Pretty tough for you to provide clarity to your team when like you're not even clear on what it looks like to win. And so that's why this is a game of sequence. Like you go first, you understand what it looks like for you to lead. And then by doing that, now you have the opportunity to provide clarity for the people on your team. Okay. And then once you actually have clarity on what it looks like to win, Katie, what's the next thing that is probably the biggest struggle that almost all business owners are going to have today and for the rest of their business lives?
Yeah. Do you actually care if your team wins or not? And if you do care, you will confront the standard if it is not met.
Yeah. It's funny how you phrase that, because I think a lot of people think about caring the opposite. Thinking about caring and avoiding. Like, I care about this person, so I want to avoid telling the truth. I want to avoid telling them they got the bad breath. Oh my gosh. I can remember this. This was when I had the gym. I had a trainer who just stunk. BO, right? And I had another trainer who came up to me and told me about this. And I was like, oh man, what should we do? And both of us in the very beginning were like, no one wanted to confront it. But then we realized, like, are we actually helping this person by not telling them that they stink? And so I remember I was the one tasked with this conversation. I remember starting the conversation and was like, just out of curiosity, do do you use deodorant? And thank God they said no. I was like, really? Amazing, amazing. So here's some feedback I'd give you, and this is like so to make sure that you are, thinking about the clients and thinking about your fellow trainers as well. It's like if you put deodorant on before your workout and even after your workout, then like maybe the clients and the other trainers would appreciate that. And it was actually a pretty simple conversation. And from there on, like they put deodorant on and no one ever complained about BO again. But I remember when having that conversation, I didn't want to have the conversation. I wanted to avoid it. But then I realized that I was not helping this person by avoiding the conversation. And so a lot of times, guys, like if you actually care about somebody, just like Katie said, and you actually want to help them, confronting the standard is the way to actually help them. And so if you actually cared about them, even more than you cared about yourself, that's when you understanding and enforcing the standard is serving. Okay. And so the reality is that you never fix any of these issues that we just talked about, your business will be full of helpers instead of leaders. And how many of you guys want leaders on your team? Anybody? Anybody want to have a team full of leaders? Cool. Okay. So let's talk about how to get some leaders on the team. Okay. And so the title of this call is players don't chase money, they chase vision. Okay. And so one of the biggest fallacies that people make is that if I just pay somebody more, they'll perform more. Kitty, talk about why raises alone don't work.
If there is no reason behind a pay increase, the person then expects pay increases without providing more value in the future. They have no clarity on why the raise happened. You have no clarity on why the raise happened. So they have no clarity on how to win again. No. They just expect something for nothing.
If you give someone a pay for no reason, then they will expect more pay in the future for no reason. How many of you guys want that? How many of you guys want somebody to come to you for no reason and ask for more money? It really gets you guys all excited, doesn't it? Well, then stop giving people for nothing. Very simple, but not easy, right? And so, how many of you guys have ever done this? You've given someone a raise for no reason, thinking that it was going to solve all these people's problems that they were currently having.
But they were now going to all of a sudden do all this extra work because you're paying them more.
Yeah. And then a couple of weeks later, you fail to realize that now they still have all these problems. They're still unreliable. They still create drama. They still have excuses. But now they're just getting paid more to create the same problems. Yeah. So early last year, we realized that we had a cleaner retention problem between both of our locations. And so, Katie, what did we do?
We gave raises for no reason.
We gave raises for no reason. So funny. And so within a short period of time, we lost 14 of 16 cleaners, all within 2 months. Pay went up, and our cleaners, they were not down. And we created entitlement with these cleaners. We pushed their focus on a paycheck. And the problem with that is that when someone is focused on the paycheck and someone else offers them slightly more or slightly less work to get the same amount of pay, what ends up happening?
They take the opportunity.
Yeah. I call that a vending machine culture. Hours in, paycheck out. Now, That doesn't build A players, guys. But what does, Katie?
Incentivizing things to increase pay.
Yeah.
Incentive pay versus entitlement pay.
Here we go. And so most cleaners, they get paid the same whether they show up every single week or they call out constantly. Right? That's the industry that we're in. And we recognize that like that's not how we wanted to do business. And so we created Star Pay, and now we're actually on Star Pay 2.0. And Star Pay 2.0, it rewards cleaners for two things. Katie, what's the first one?
Reliability. Showing up.
Showing up. And how do we actually define showing up?
0 absences. Whether it is excused or unexcused, you have 0 absences.
Standards. Standards. Clear standards that are either you either met it or you didn't meet it. Right? But what if, Katie? What if all the reasons? What if my kid
What if
gets
they
sick?
gave you 3 months notice?
What if they gave me 3 months? What if they gave me a day? Is it an absence or not? What if their kid got sick? What if their car didn't work? What if it snowed, one of those snowy ass states? What if they got a flat tire? Okay. 0 absences or perfect attendance. It's very measurable. So that's the first thing that Star Pay 2.0 rewards. What's the second thing, Katie?
The ability to deliver a 5-star experience.
Ability to deliver a 5-star experience. And how is this measured?
Google reviews. 5-star Google reviews.
Yes. Have you ever had a cleaner get a 1-star Google review before?
Yeah.
Specifically like their name in the review?
Yeah.
Did they get a bonus for that?
No.
So yeah, good catch. Good catch. So yes, a 5-star review, right? So it's very simple. They either got the review or they didn't get the review. Very measurable. Right? And so with StarPlay 2.0, it rewards cleaners for reliability and for delivering a 5-star experience, which is 0 attendances, or excuse me, 0 absences and getting reviews. And so the cleaners every single week have an opportunity to earn a bonus based on these things. Okay. Now, for some reason, they do have an absence because, by the way, guys, it happens. The most consistent people are still going to have times where they have absences. And so the cool thing about StarPay is that it resets every single week. So even if you had 4 absences one week, it still just counts as 1. You just didn't get the bonus for that week. But the next week, if you show up, what do you get, Katie?
The bonus.
You can earn it again next week. Right? So it also rewards consistency, which is probably the most important thing that your clients value. They just want the person to show up when they say they're going to show up, do what they say they're going to do, when they say they're going to do it.
Every single time.
And so if that's what the client wants, then incentivize the cleaner to do the same thing. Okay. And so I mentioned a little bit, but when the cleaners do this, when they show up and they have 0 absences, they do get a bonus. It's pretty significant. Okay. And the thing that we've added with StarPay 2.0 is that now this bonus can compound. The more bonus weeks they have, the bigger the bonus gets.
Oh.
However, the week you have an absence, what happens?
You don't earn the bonus.
That's not fair. Kitty, share a story about one of our cleaners last week who's not used to not getting the bonus.
Yeah, this cleaner has had a very good track record of earning the bonus. So they have become accustomed to earning said bonus. And there was a situation where the cleaner was not able to attend a clean. So they were marked as absent and they did not earn the bonus.
Yeah.
And they did not think that this was fair.
It's not fair. No. He's right. It wouldn't be fair to give him the bonus if they didn't earn it. That's what's not fair. Because you have to believe in people that they can do it. And by the way, this person has actually showed historically that they can show up. And so you know what's
I
not
think this is
fair?
the most important part about holding this standard is that you have to actually believe that these people can provide the solution for themselves.
Yeah. And so they're right. It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to give him a bonus if he didn't earn it. And the moment that you guys believe that is the moment that this game becomes a lot easier, is to believe in people. Even when they are not successful the first time or the second time or some time, like, believe in them that they can do it. And then when they understand that's the standard, by golly, they'll figure out how to show up. Okay.
And they also understand what happens if they don't show up.
Yeah. They have clarity. They have clarity. And so one bonus, one incentive for cleaners is showing up. They get a bonus. And then also for every 5-star review, they also earn a bonus. Okay. Now, here's where Start Pay 2.0 has got even better, is that now when they do both consistently and they do them together, we have created weekly salaries and gas incentives. And so people can earn the opportunity to have a minimum salary every single week, that they are guaranteed a salary, and
They're guaranteed a salary if they have 0 absences.
Interesting. It always goes back to the same concept of, like, we don't reward mediocrity. We don't reward the thing that the clients absolutely despise, for people not to show up. We only reward consistency and reliability and delivering a 5-star experience. And so when we do those things together, that's how you create an incentive pay structure that aligns the cleaners with the clients. And when you align
In
cleaners
the office.
together, that's where you guys in the office are like looking around like you feel like you're cheating. And the answer
Why is everybody showing up?
yes.
Why is everybody delivering a 5-star experience? What is happening?
Yes. Right. And so if you guys want to create cleaners who are A players, sell them on incentive pay versus entitlement pay. Like, yes, cleaners are human just like anybody else is. If you give them something, they're going to take it. But if you sell them on earning things, in the very beginning, they're going to be slightly resistant. But once they earn it, they will never leave. Because the moment that somebody has earned something, the moment is that they do not want to give it up. And it's quite the contrary. When something's given to somebody, people have no value to things that are given to them. So if you want a team full of A players, make it a little bit hard in the beginning by creating some resistance. But once they go past the resistance, the probability of them leaving shrinks tremendously. Now, we just announced something this morning at all 3 locations that we had revealed at last week's team meetup. And the concept of this is making hard work fun. How many of you guys think that cleaning is hard? And you guys think cleaning is hard?
Very hard. Yes.
Most of you guys have been in the field. Most of you guys understand. Some of you guys are still in the field, right? Now, how many of you guys are proud to be cleaners? How many of you guys feel like there's a sense of pride that comes with cleaning?
Yeah.
Some of you guys do. Cool. Right? And so I've seen this too with our cleaners. And so what we decided is we're going to turn cleaning into a sport. And so this morning in Sacramento, in Bozeman, and here in Mesa, we announced the cleaner games. And so we announced a competition between Bozeman, Mesa, and Sacramento. Okay. The team with the most points between the three locations wins. We got pride on the line. We got trophies on the line, right? We got bragging rights on the line. And the cleaners, how they score points is based on three things: their attendance percentage, Google reviews, and we subtract that from their correction/discount cleans. And so by making this into a game, number one, intuitively, people want to win. That's the first off. But what's most important is that this game actually teaches cleaners how to win, regardless of this competition. How many of you guys would love your cleaners to have 100% attendance percentage? Anybody? If your cleaners always showed up. Okay. How many of you guys would love your cleaners to be getting 2, 3, 4 Google reviews a piece per week?
Heck yeah.
Matt, okay, so like some of you guys don't get a lot of Google reviews, so like you guys don't really understand this. But like we've got 800 Google reviews within the last 2 years of just one location. Mesa alone has 800 reviews, guys. Almost 800. It's close to 800. Okay. So what you guys don't see with this is that we do get to see is that when you call a freaking client after their first clean that's already given a Google review, what's the probability of you having a good experience on that phone call?
10 out of 10.
So do you want to make your life easier in the office?
Yes.
Then make it easy for your cleaners to get Google reviews. And also, what's the probability of that client signing up for reoccurring?
Pretty good. Better than no review for sure.
Interesting. Interesting. And then, of course, we subtract it from what you guys don't want to experience when you call a client. Yeah. Was she even here? Did they do this? Why didn't they do this? How many of you guys love those conversations? Yeah. Okay. So how do we incentivize the first thing, 5-star reviews, and how do we punish, how do we extinguish correction cleans / discount cleans? Well, in this case, we're just going to subtract it from the points. Okay. Which means that when a cleaner goes into a home, their goal is to deliver a 5-star experience. It means that they like, and as much as we love to think it's about cleaning, guys, it's about the mindset the cleaner goes into it. There's so many little things that they can do that increase the probability of the client being happy. And if they just don't care, if there's no reason for them to actually go to do the standard or like make sure the standard is actually done, then it's so much easier for them just to cut corners. But if they have an incentive, they have a reason to deliver a 5-star experience, by golly, they'll figure it out.
Do you think that they're going to also change their actions if they have to ask for a Google review at the end of the claim?
Good probability. Good probability, right? Yeah. And so the goal of the cleaner games is to make the cleaner's job fun, rewarding, and something they can be proud of. And it's also to create a collaborative team environment. And this morning, we had right before this call, we had our Mesa Vision meeting. And I just asked how the announcement went. So I haven't got to hear it from SAC yet. And Elia was on there too, so she showed me a little bit about Bozeman. But yeah, like they were excited. They were like, I guess this means we're gonna have to like work as a team to get better. And we're like,
one of the comments was, we're only as strong as our weakest player.
Yeah. So if you guys want your team to actually be a team, and instead of like coming to you, so again, if you want your team coming to you to complain about other teammates, keep doing what you're doing. If you want your team just to go to the other person and tell them, hey, you got to get better because you're bringing our score down, make this into a game, right? And so
the cleaners also act differently amongst peers than they do you. So if you can get your collaboration on your team to want the standard to be held amongst each other, it the action, rather than getting offended when you tell them to show up, if their teammate tells them to show up or their peer or their coworker tells them to show up, the level of offense lowers and they're like, huh, they actually want me to show up too. Okay.
Yeah.
The power of influence.
So if you guys want to create A players, make hard work, make a hard job like cleaning, make it fun. Speaking of A players, let's talk about entrepreneurs. So most people on here are entrepreneurs, although I would argue some of you guys should be entrepreneurs. Do you guys actually know the difference between an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur? Have you guys even heard the word entrepreneur before? Katie, what's the difference between an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur?
Yeah, entrepreneurs bet with their bank account and entrepreneurs bet with their performance.
Yeah. But the reason why both people are playing the game is because there is no ceiling. And that's why I said a lot of people should really be entrepreneurs, because most people don't understand money, which means that they're bad with money, which means that they're afraid to use money. And like the best entrepreneurs, they have solved those first three problems. They understand money, they use money, and they have a good relationship with money. They're not afraid to use it because it's just a resource. And so if you guys want to have A players on your team, you need to create entrepreneurs, especially for your office staff. And so the reason that we're able to have 3 locations, and we will do more locations in the future, is because Katie and I look for one thing. We look for amazing humans with amazing skills who want the opportunity to play this game without a ceiling. And when the company grows, their income grows. And so what is the first incentive that helps us create A players in the office, Katie?
Revenue bonuses.
Revenue bonuses, right? And so what a revenue bonus does, guys, is it helps direct someone's focus from time in the seat to production in the seat. It gets us away from somebody just being focused on like how many hours they're working versus how much production did they make while they were working.
It goes away from the vending machine analogy earlier.
Yeah.
Hours in, paycheck out, to production in, paycheck out.
Yeah. And so here's the reason why most people don't do this is because in the beginning, when somebody doesn't have a lot of skills, they're going to spend more time and they're not going to make very much. And a lot of people feel bad, kind of like how you feel bad about how I felt bad about confronting the trainer with BO. But the reality is like, we got to confront the truth. And like the reason that they're spending more time and they're not actually making more money is because they're not producing more. And so they're gonna need to spend even more time to acquire the skill set of being able to produce, which requires them to not just work while they're in the seat getting paid, but they need to work outside of work. And the reason why I have so much appreciation for our office staff is because like they're willing to work outside of work. And by the way, I never asked them to. I'm very conscious of that. I don't say anything, but I can watch and observe. And like they're willing to work outside of work in the aspect of they're willing to work on themselves. And that becomes the culture that we've created. And for example, we just had a brand new office person who was a cleaner, just ascended into the office 2 weeks ago in Mesa. And Kate and I were talking about this, and I was like, and we were talking about the idea of like, you know, she's bought into the vision, but she has low skill sets when it comes to sales. And I was like, Katie, you got to be really conscious that you cannot tell her to like take her computer home. She can't work outside of work. Like you cannot say that. And then we onboarded her on a Friday, and she was getting ready to leave for the weekend. She just asked, she's like, can I take my computer home? Sure.
By golly, yes.
I guess you can. And so it's important to recognize that like you cannot ask, but you want the person who asks you if they can work outside of work, if they can take it home, if they can go learn. And that's what you want to see. Right. And that's a huge testament to the people who are inside the culture, from the Elias, the Kazais, and the Kellens. Like that's where that comes from. Right. Now, that's the first way to start to create entrepreneurs, right? Is to help them understand that like when they grow the company's revenue, they can grow their income. Katie, what's the next way that you can create entrepreneurs?
Through profit share.
What is profit share?
Profit share is sharing profit. What the bottom line reads, you disperse some of that to the entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to create the ultimate entrepreneur, you share profits, right? And so what this does is that it helps the person see the other side of the equation, the expenses. So how many of you guys realize that when your business makes $1 million in revenue, it doesn't mean that you just made $1 million. Does everyone understand that? Because some people don't actually. And some of you guys' employees don't. Like, you guys are making so much money. No, we're making so much revenue. Right? And this is where they get to introduce to the expense side of it. Okay. And also your office staff as well. And so when they understand that like revenue is one game, which by the way, you need to learn how to make revenue. It really is important. Because if you guys have $5,000 in revenue, you can never have $20,000 in profit. Like it doesn't work that way. Okay. So you need to understand how to make revenue, but then you got to understand sequence. Exactly right. And then you need to understand how to make profit. And that's how we look at our expenses, and we're able to manage our expenses so that there's actually left over, right? Profit is the revenue minus the expenses equals profit. Now, this is a harder game to play because it includes more factors. But this is the game that everyone here who's an entrepreneur, like you have to play both sides of the equation. And honestly, most of you guys suck at it too. That's why your businesses don't make any money. Sometimes you lose money. Right? And so it's very hard. It's very challenging. Okay. But if you want to create the ultimate A player, the ultimate entrepreneur, it's profit share. Because it teaches them, because they will learn how to not only grow the revenue, but also how to manage the expenses so that whatever's left over, like they get a cut of on top of whatever they're already getting paid. Now, there's very few people who actually offer profit share. Why is that, Katie?
If there is no profit, you can't share it. It's definitely a reason.
If you're making $5,000 in revenue a month, there ain't no profit, guys. In fact, in the cleaning business, there's not any significant profit for you to share until you get to 83K. And that's why most people don't offer it, is because your business isn't big enough. Like you can't offer a profit share at 40K or even 60K. Like at $83,000 a month, which is the $1 million run rate. If you do 83,000 times 12, that's $1 million. Like that's your first point where there actually is enough profit that you could even offer some sort of profit share. And honestly, it's at the very beginning. Like it's still tough at 83K. Like that's why you want to get to 100, 120, 130, 140, $150,000 a month. There's much more profit there. Okay. So the biggest reason why most people don't offer profit share is because you're too freaking small. So like if you're like, I want to offer profit share, like as Katie said earlier, it's a game of sequence. You must grow your revenue so there's enough revenue for you then to even have some profit to have.
But even when the revenue is there, some of you inject personal expenses into the business and treat the business as Logan likes to say, your personal piggy bank.
Yeah. You'll never be able to share profits if you use your business as your own little piggy bank. That's another reason why most people don't share it, is because they think too small. Yeah, that's fine. You can put your personal expenses in there, but you're just not going to there's not going to be enough profit for you to share with somebody. And also, you're probably not going to want to do the next thing, which is what, Katie? What's the next thing that you're probably not going to want to do if you treat your business like a piggy bank?
I think a lot of people don't share profit because there's a fear around exposing the truth.
Yeah. What if people realize I'm actually making money? You're a terrible person. God forbid you've actually made money as a business owner. You're a terrible person. But it's real, guys. It's real. Like it's like I say that because I've experienced this. I've seen very really smart, logical people who brought this to me, and like, yeah, it's a fear people have. It's why people don't share profits because they don't want to know that they don't want to share with people that they're actually making money. Okay. And another reason why people are afraid to expose the truth is because they don't want people to realize they're not making money. Oh,
Well, shit. If we're
well,
not making money and or we are making money, we definitely can't expose that.
exactly. So let's just not do that. And here's the reality. Here's the reality. There will be times where you make money and there'll be times where you don't make money. And so this is the reason why why very few people offer profit share is because you're either afraid of one of those things or maybe you're afraid of both of them. And the reality is they're both going to happen.
I'll never forget the first time that we had a negative month and we were currently paying profit share on a monthly basis. And after I saw the month ends numbers, I was like, shit, like we're going to have to ask Elias for money back.
Hey girl, bring that money back. It was so funny. Yeah, this was quite literally probably the second or third month that we actually started offering profit share. This was in 2024. Yeah, so this was a couple years ago. And yeah, so guys, like we had these same fears, and so we just experienced them all already. Like we just went through them, and we made no money, and we already
And we
paid a
did not
profit.
ask for money back
No,
either.
we did not. We were never going to ask for money back, but it was funny because we're like, we used it as a good reason to change how we did profit share. We used that and we said, okay, now we're just going to pay it out over a different time frame, which has made much more sense since then. But yeah, this is the reason why people are afraid to do profit share. Once you even built the business, once you actually have profit to share, now the next reason why somebody wouldn't want to give it away is because there's gonna be times where you're making a ton of money. You're like, whoa, I just wrote a $20,000 profit check. Like, good. That means you made a lot more, brother. And there's also gonna be times where you're like, dude, we just went negative. You're like, yeah, happens, right? And so the reality of business, guys, is up and down, it's up and down. But when you have an entrepreneur who's along with you, like they also start to get it. They start to get it as a ride. And that's who you want. You want somebody who is not just there for the paycheck, right? You want somebody who's willing to ride the ups with you, but also willing to come down with you as well. And that's what an entrepreneur is. That's what a real entrepreneur is they're willing to take the ride with you. And then, Katie, what's the last reason why someone is unwilling to do profit share?
Yeah, just like a small mindset, just not wanting to actually share. There's not enough for everybody.
No. Goals, dreams are way too small. Goals are just about you, right? I've been doing this for a decade. You've only been here for a year. Why should I share with you? What if they make too much money, right? Yeah. These are some of the reasons that people are afraid to offer profit share. Speaking of goals too small, what's the opposite of goals too small? Does anyone know? No. Goals too big. Big reasons, right? We never shared this with you guys publicly, but I think today's the day. We shared this with our team, but I think today's the day, Katie. Katie, what's our unreasonable goal that we have as a company?
Yeah, $20 million in top line revenue.
Within the next 3 to 5 years. Only 7% of businesses ever hit $1 million. 3% reach 2 million. Only 2% of businesses ever make it to 3 million. Less than 0.5% of businesses ever see 10 million of annual revenue. And a $20 million home cleaning business is unheard of. And that's exactly why we want to do it. Because unreasonable goals attract unreasonable people. the kind of people who show up when it's hard, the kind of people who push even when it's inconvenient, the kind of people who stay even when someone else offers them a few dollars more per hour. That's what you call an A player, my friends. A players want to be part of unreasonable goals, something that's never been done before. And so, Katie, why 20 million? Is that just a made up number?
No, the 20 million gives us a opportunity to have $4 million in profit. And at $4 million in profit is when a private equity firm would start to look at us.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you get the interest from private equity, you start to get, some big, interesting numbers.
More zeros.
More zeros. And so, speaking of more zeros, right now we are paying a coach more than we've ever paid before. We're paying a coach $1,800 an hour, multiple times a month, to help us close this gap. Because right now we're sitting about $3 million, and we got to close the gap on 20 here. So, along with us getting the coaching to get there and getting the strategy, what we're also doing is we're showing our team that we're freaking serious. Because when you spend $1,800 an hour, it means you freaking care about something. And because we show our seriousness, it allows our team to actually take this goal serious as well. And so let's talk about the potential payoff. Katie, what did we share, or what did the team have the opportunity to sign last week?
Yeah, they signed a document that was named a long-term incentive plan.
Yeah. So if we talk about this idea of creating A players, giving them a big reason to stick around with a big potential payout is how you attract and create A players. And so if we do happen to hit this big unreasonable goal, and we get a private equity company to invest in this company, our key players are going to get a very handsome payout. Not a bonus, not a gift card, not a high five. They might get all those as well, but they're going to get a life-changing payout. And so, is that a big enough reason to show up on a hard day, to push through the difficult clients, to handle the cleaners, to stay even when things get tough? We'll see. But we're betting on big reasons to build A players. Now, here's the lesson, guys, is that no one in here needs a long-term incentive plan or private equity or to have the cleaner games. But what you do need is to answer one question for every person on your team. What is that question, Katie?
What does my future look like if I help this company win?
Everybody pay attention now. Everything else was just leading up to this right here. This is what you guys need to pay attention to. Write this down. What does my future look like if I help this company win? That is the question that you need to think about. You need to look at through the lens of every single person on your team: cleaners, office staff, VAs. If you have other partners on your team, if they show up consistently, if they perform at a high level, if they grow with you for years, like what actually changes if they do those things? Will their income actually grow? Do they have an opportunity to predictably grow their income? Is there leadership roles there? Can they get more autonomy? Can they get a profit share? Can they have the opportunity to build something, to create something?
To see their hard work earn something.
Yeah. Small business owners, small-minded business owners, maybe I should say, they only define job duties, policies, and they set base pay rates. If that sometimes. But they never define a future. And so here's the secret, guys, is that your team doesn't need an exact vision. Like I said, most of you guys are still blurry. That's okay. They don't need to know the exact way we're going. They just need to see that their goals can fit inside your vision. It was a little over 2 years ago when we left Montana to come to Arizona. We sat in a boardroom. Katie, myself, Alaya, and we had another office staff person on our team. And I rented this boardroom out, and I just sat there and I just shared the vision of all the next locations of five-star home cleaning. And Alaya, who's on this call today, she's called a geek. She's like, this is amazing. This is so cool. I'm so exciting. And along with that, she also got the opportunity to become the manager of Bozeman. As Katie and I came down here to Arizona and started a second location. And that vision I shared with her and Katie and our other office staff person at the time, like, it's totally different than what it is today. It's totally different. I think totally different. Like, the goal is always to grow. The strategy on how to grow has changed tremendously. But what has stayed the same is that, like, the big reason, the big think is still there. And while the exact plan has changed, it's getting more clear now. It's actually getting more clear. And that's why it's changed, because as we get closer, at that time we were at 1 million. Now we're at 3 million. Like, as we get to 5 million, we'll see it clear. When we get to 10 million, we'll be even more clear. But it's just having the courage to say, here's where we're going to go. I'm not exactly sure I'm going to get there, but here's what I have. Here's what I think is, like, here's the path I see, subject to change. Because when your company's growth becomes the vehicle for what they personally want, for their personal growth, everything changes. This is when you stop having helpers and you create leaders. You stop having employees and you start having entrepreneurs. And a business, like cleaning, toilets, bathrooms, sinks, like, that's a business worth sacrificing for. Are you guys ready to actually take this into your business? And start helping your team do this? Who's ready for that? You guys ready? Here's how you start selling the vision. This is the most important piece. You start by asking. You ask and you shut up. And you listen. And so here we go. We're going to get really tactical right now. You're going to schedule one-on-ones with the key people on your team. So for some of you guys, that actually might be cleaners. For some of you guys, it will be your office staff. If you want to get value from this call, this is what you do. You schedule these one-on-ones and you ask them, what do you want in your life? What are your goals? What are your dreams? And you actually ask, and you take that first question and you ask a second question that goes based on their answer. What do you mean by that? Tell me more. Why? Where did that come from? You actually care. You don't ask some generic baloney freaking, what do you want your life to be in the next 3 years? Bullcrap. Actually care what your people want to be in life. Try to understand why they want that. Listen. Not to talk, but to actually listen to what they want. Because when you're able to understand what they want, and you truly understand it, like where it's coming from, it allows you to then take the goals of the business and align those two things together and say, okay, you said you want this, right? Here's how you can make that happen through this vehicle of the business. Guys, you're not going to build A players by entitlement raises or just by creating more rules. Hey, we have this problem. We should create another rule. Stupid. You build A players by offering a future worth chasing. Also, stop asking, how do I get somebody to care? You don't. You say, do you want this? And if not, cool, go somewhere else. If you do, cool. Then if they do want it, then you need to start asking, how do I make this opportunity big enough to deserve their full commitment? How do you get them just as invested into the business as you are? Last week, when we had Elia, Kellen, and Keziah all in the same room, it just made me realize that like these people are just as committed as Katie and I. And that's why our business has gone to where it is. And if it is going to continue to grow to 20 million, we need even more people who are this committed. I think the biggest reason why we have people who are just as committed as we are is because we just gave them an opportunity to feel the pain that we feel and also feel the joy that we feel as well. But Katie said it so earlier, it's a game of sequence. You must let them feel the pain first with you, because the joy is actually just the difference between the pain and where they are now. That's what joy is. And without perspective of the pain, joy doesn't exist. And so guys, if you're not clear on exactly what your big reason is yet, it's okay. This is actually where Kate and I can help, because we just have a little bit more clarity than a lot of people do at this very moment. And so I did this a couple weeks ago, and it turned out to be a pretty good little thing. But we offered free game plan calls that people could get on as an opportunity to try to get clarity on what they wanted in their business. And in this case, how do you get clarity on where your business is going, so then you can sell yourself on it first and then start to sell your team on it. And so James just dropped the link. If you guys want to book a free game plan call with Katie, there's only gonna be 5 of these spots for this week, and then I'm turning it off. You guys take advantage of it. Now, if you guys have already done a game plan call, please don't book another one. I'm just gonna cancel your freaking calls again. So this is, I gotta say these things, otherwise people will do it. That's totally fine. But if you've already done a free call with Katie, then yes, like one call, right? Again, Katie also makes a lot of money per hour. And so I have to be really conscious of giving her time away. That's why we limit to 5. And so again, if you need clarity, if you're inside the community and you're in one-on-one coaching, again, you don't need to book the call. If you're inside the community, you've already booked a game plan call before, don't book a call. If you're inside the mentorship and haven't booked a call with Katie to get your game plan call, go for it. If you're not inside the mentorship, you also can book a call as well. Yes, this is for people who are even not inside the mentorship. It's going to go to the first 5 people. So if you want clarity on exactly what it takes on how to create A players, how to be an A player, how to create a vision, you guys can take that link and book a call. Once 5 people have booked, I'm going to close that link off. And so hopefully you guys got some value from today. You guys understood what it actually takes to create A players. And I think this is like something that is so important, is that like you must have the discipline to not give things to people for nothing, because you will hurt them and you will ruin them. And you'll ruin their opportunity to actually turn them into A players by not letting them do the very thing that you want. Is you want them to experience joy, but you can only experience joy when you first experience pain. And so let them feel pain. Believe that they can feel the pain, that they're okay with it, that they can handle it. Because once you felt it, then you actually can understand what real joy feels like. It's just the difference between where you feel now and that pain you felt back then. That's joy. Appreciate you guys so much for hopping on today. And again, for you guys who are inside the mentorship, we actually have some cool things this week. We have a price increase for coaching, so coaching price going up. We also have a module release. We have a module release on Thursday, and so get on the coaching calls this week. Tuesday and Wednesday, there's coaching calls, and on Thursday, there's a new module release on Thursday. So make sure you guys are on those calls. And if you guys are also interested in getting coaching, get in before the price goes up. And if you guys are not at the mentorship, keep consuming all the information, absorb the free stuff. And when you're ready to commit to building a $1 million business, you can book a call. Honestly, you can talk to the people who are inside the mentorship and understand that, as you guys have probably seen from the tone of this call today, like it's about taking things serious. And the reason that I feel very confident in only letting serious people into the mentorship is because I take this game very serious. Now, I have a lot of fun doing it, but like I do take it serious. And at the end of the day, like if you don't want to be serious, it's okay too. You're just not going to be. You're not going to not be serious in my group, in my community. And it's not in my community. It's our community, right? And I think that's the most important thing to understand. It's not mine. It's like this isn't my team. This isn't my 5-star team. It's like it's the Kazayas and the Elias and the Kellens, and it's like it's their team, right? Inside the community. This is not my community or Kay's community. This is the Julias, the Jessica Lucases, the Kayla Irbies, right? Like this is our community. Right? But at the end of the day, it's my job to make sure that only serious people get to play in these games. Because there's nothing worse that pisses off A performers, like the people I just talked about, than bringing in people who are not committed. So, happy freaking Monday, guys. For all you guys in the mentorship, see you guys on the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday calls. If you're not in the mentorship, we'll see you in the free home cleaning courses group. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and bye, guys.